Okay, so I entitled this Engine Day. I'm gonna change that because people are fucked up or whatever. Let's talk about my Native American ancestry. I saw a meme that was Elizabeth shit. It was Elizabeth Warren wearing war paint and a war bonnet and saying it was Indigenous Peoples Day. Most people would look at me and not think that I was Native at all. If you saw my great grandma and my great grandpa, you'd be like, "Holy shit! What happened to this person?" Fucking, it got cold outside, so now all of the gnats have come in. I've yet to fill the house with cold air because it hasn't gotten that cold outside. So if you see little gnats flying around, welcome to Oklahoma. Welcome to the fun that it is to live here. Brings me to my point. The only people that would live in Oklahoma were fucking Scottish people that wanted to be left alone. Ergo, you get me. And the Indians and black people that were pretty much forced to live here. Okay. I have 4% African American DNA. Like it's sub Saharan African. There's stuff from Moorish Spain and some other stuff too that, like, I don't know where that comes from. We did the 23andMe thing on my mom and grandma. And I don't know 100% of me, but I know them. So that's what I talk about. And the native stuff, I am not a member of any tribe. I could be. I haven't because basically in or around the 1890s to 1930s, there were a bunch of courthouse fires, and our family shit was in one of those. And my great grandfathers decided moving forward it was best not to be Indian. So they married white women and never corrected the records because they were already mixed anyway. So, like, this is a lot of Oklahoma. I'm sorry that, like, I look this way or whatever, but, like, I know more about our people than you do probably. I was interested. Uh, I wasn't ever interested in the tribes that I was a part of. The tribes that I actually have ancestry in are Cherokee, Creek, Choctaw, and something else that I don't remember. Choctaw would interest me. The Cherokee and Creeks, I don't have anything against or whatever. Just they're not the part of like Native American history that always interested me were like the warriors. Like, not that they didn't have warriors, but like the stuff I was interested in were like the Kiowa, Comanche, Apache military societies of the plains and shit, the Sioux Nation and shit like that. Like that's the area of history I was focused on. So it's nothing against them or whatever. It's just they were there. Um, in college, I got into anthropology and found out that basically all my teachers liked me because I was from Oklahoma and could basically drive them wherever they needed to go. Which the person I was with was the teacher was from Oklahoma too, but like occasionally you might not want to drive. And I think on that whole trip I drove maybe once or twice because like he and I just chit chatted the whole time. And I'm fun to talk to, as you might imagine. Like on a road trip, this is in another why between the tits and the cute face and the sparkling personality. I hope the Mad Max Marauder picks me. I'm a crazy bitch. You should know that. Literally, the people that I'm descended from were the people that kept moving out on the frontier and got all the way to probably California and then came back to Oklahoma because they figured it was the last place people would fucking go. And like now, there's people flocking here too. I don't know. I I really need to buy land in Oklahoma sooner rather than later, and I'm too broke to do it. Need to fucking. I don't really want to sell the house. That's like the debate going on right now in the family is what to do with the family's assets and houses. not to like let you too into like my own business or whatever, but like my family's not crazy fucking rich, but like we're fucking rednecks that bought our own homes like 40 years ago or more. Like my grandma's house, my great grandpa bought in 1953. The house where my uncle lives is my grandma's mom and dad's house. If you ever hear me say Tootsie and Papa, it's their house. They bought that house after World War II. The house I'm in now is more complicated than that. We bought this. We bought this when I was in high school, and we still have it because Ray Ray made Jed Clampett money at some point. Basically, that's why I live here. Uh, I legitimately made some good money at some point, and all that you see is partially mine. I'm not going to get anything out of that, I don't think, though, because like my mother views that as thank you for helping me. And I will not charge you rent for living in that house as a result. And I'm like, huh. That's one way to look at it. It's definitely one way to look at it. It's not how I look at it. So we're spatting about that and various other things. That's pretty much settled though. The stuff that we're spatting about is my vote for my half of the house, because it's about half, is we don't sell the bitch because I like it. I know that seems crazy or whatever, given that like its location is now probably well known to all the Nazis of Tulsa. But like, I have sat here with basically unlocked doors and no alarm system for the better part of 5 years, ready to shoot whoever walked in the front door. Come try it, bitch. That's where I'm at with it. Like, I'm. It's not like I'm broadcasting myself to the world, but I also don't care. And I honestly don't think anyone has any balls anymore anyway. And if they do, then the Baraka will ride with me and they will die. Is it, we will fight with swords so we can see each other in the eye. Like, I'm not really crazy. I am an actor. And it's one of my favorite lines in all of TV or movies or anything is in the Mandarin short thing after Iron Man 3, where the Mandarin is in the jail. He's like, I'm an out of work actor, love. You have no idea what I'm capable of. It's pretty much true. We live in our own heads. We're not well people. Um, like this in a nutshell is why like you see artists or actors that play the Joker and then spiral out of control. It's because they welcome this into their life and they become a part of it. It becomes a part of them. And like Heath Ledger, for example, was kind of a broken drug addict that couldn't handle it. I don't really know what this is, but this is a command presence that you can achieve. I'd like to think it's God. Maybe it's Satan. I don't know. It's, when everything's firing on all cylinders and you know what you're doing is right, everything works better. Anyway, my thoughts on National Not White People's Day, or whatever the fuck you want to call this thing. I don't fucking know. Is basically that if you wanted to remember the Native Americans that you killed and destroyed fondly, you could remember their grandfathers and what they would want. And what their grandfathers would want is not what you are doing. Not by a fucking mile. So, in remembrance of fucking Sitting Bull and Crazy Horse and all the other fuckers, like, fuck you. Like, there's a movie. It's got Charlie Sheen in it. It's called Beyond the Law. It's a great movie. At the start of it, there's a medicine man called Bogus Charlie just taking pot shots at bulldozers with a deer rifle. That's me, essentially. Like, I can't really do anything to stop you from doing what you're doing, but I'm pissed about it. So I'm just going to sit here and eat my jerky and shoot at you. Yeah. Like, I think this is half of the reason, like, there's this giant Scottish population in Tulsa. We have a Scottish festival every year that is big. Like, the people that came here initially were Scottish because of the fucking. There's lots of reasons, but basically, we don't like the English. The English are the Easterners for the most part. Uh, Whoever came here to be on the frontier and to get away from that shit. So, like, genetics are genetics. Me, hundreds of years later, yeah, I'd still like a cabin in the fucking woods over living with those fucks. And somewhere in my grandfather's graves, I'm getting a slow clap for that one. It doesn't matter what you do to us. It doesn't matter how much you fuck with us. It doesn't matter how powerful you get. We'll still be here. We'll still not like you. And occasionally, we'll still come and kill all you bitches. Like, that's really the thing that kills me is basically what I view of history is there's two groups. There's like English and Scottish, whatever you want to call them, the Easterners and the Westerners. But there's always these two fucking groups of people that some of them want to control everything and some of them just want to be left the fuck alone. And somehow we always end up getting the short end of the stick. I could get into that, but we've gotten the short end of the stick every fucking turn for the last 10,000 years. You're looking at someone that is upset that we have agriculture. Let that sink in. Not like being a hunter gatherer was all that great, but like, fuck, at least you were free and in the forest. When you died, you died. It wasn't living in some miserable piece of shit fucking hospital for the rest of your life. I got a glimpse into the future that awaits us should you actually make it to be 80 or whatever. You don't want it. You know, the lion Conan, you want to live forever? I think in reality, John Milius knew what I know. That basically dying shouldn't isn't something you should be worried about. It's living too long. Go look at Theoden King in the Two Towers on his throne, old as shit, being manipulated by some worm. That's what happens if you don't go out with your boots on. You end up a broken, bitter old person, probably. Maybe you have kids taking care of you. How good did you raise your kids? You know, do your kids respect the faces of their grandfathers? You're going to be amongst their grandfathers eventually. They should have respect for you. I am not the best at having respect for others. Basically, I kind of view myself as like God, not not big G God, but like the prophet. I literally am calling myself the prophet of Crom. So basically, it's not one of those like, oh, I'm the best and I know better and whatever. No, I'm just fed the fuck up and I'm going to do my own thing. And I have a list of grievances. You can agree, you can not agree. But this video is a lot of that shit. We live in this world where, like, Elizabeth Warren sits at the throne of the thing that has destroyed Native Americans. And because she's like me, and some of her people were fucking native 400 years ago in her case, we can't even get into that. Like, I am like 800 times more black than that bitch is a Native American. I'm many times over more Native American than she is, and this is the first time on this channel I've ever made a big deal about this, and it's probably going to be one of the last. It's not something I talk about a lot. It's not really worth bringing up. It's like, okay, but on Native Injun Day or whatever the fuck it is you want to call it, you bunch of fucking murdering motherfuckers, you know, I think it's right to bitch about this shit. And like, I think half of the thing you got to get to is that, like, I'm kind of a mountain woman. My grandfather was a mountain man. Get into that later, but like, we're weirdos that live out in the woods and marry Indian chicks. We have weirdo half-breed kids. You're looking at the result of that. That doesn't mean I'm not an Indian, but at the same time, I can recognize that, like, Elizabeth Warren is ridiculous. So I don't even fucking mention, shit like that. To be honest, try not to anyway. I wish that I could get my Native American status shit back. I don't know exactly how to do that. There's some sort of way to do it. It's like a DNA test or some shit. I don't really want to fuck with it, to be honest. I don't know what it would get me. The person that I know I'm related to that was Creek is Ernest Childers. If you look him up, he won the Congressional Medal of Honor in World War II. He was a second lieutenant in Italy. It's a good read. It's worth reading. Native Americans do cool shit. You're watching cool shit. Not done by a Native American, but like a hell of a lot of the stuff that I talk about on here is heavily influenced by my obsession with Native American military societies, anthropology, archaeology, and etc. So, happy National Indian Day. Remember, in California, at one point, they paid, I think it was $5 per Indian ear. Was it $2? Either way, a lot of money in the 1800s. Every time you see Californians, every time you see Easterners, every time you see anybody like that, know that those are the scumbags that paid fucking couple bucks per ear to kill your fucking family. See you guys later.